What's up, sleepers? I hope you're enjoying your pre-launch hibernation. When Dune Awakening drops on June 10th, it's going to feel like you woke up in a still suit with a worm-summoning thumper in your pocket. Still available for pre-order on Steam, and if you grab the fancy I sold my water rations for this edition, you get that early access 5 days early on June 5th. This way, you can get in there and flex on the water market. A lot of people online are asking whether or not Dune Awakening is going to be a good game for solo players. And I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. As someone who put in 5,000 hours in New World, which was not a solo player friendly game at all, Dune Awakening, what we've seen, and it's important to understand, we have only seen a small section of the game in the closed beta. But from what we know and what we've seen, everything is very positive for solo players to participate and look, just generally have a good time in the game and be relatively competitive. So to give a full picture of what the game is going to be like, let's talk about server architecture. Yes, I know that sounds like a Mentat PowerPoint, but I promise this is relevant. Each siege, that's going to be basically your home base. This is currently capped at 40 concurrent players. And I want to stress that word concurrent, meaning as in online all at once. Does not mean that each siege will only have 40 players on it. Think of this as Arrakis' version of a no shoes, no shirt, no entry rule, but with sand everywhere. You can still visit other sieges in your world set, so don't worry. If you get into a siege but your friend can't, as long as they get into the same world that you are in, you can visit each other and you can go build in their base and they can come build in yours. You can refill their power generator, they can refill yours, and you guys can party up and go into the deep desert together. Because the deep desert, which is the end game area, is an area that is shared by the entire world, meaning all of the sieges on your world set. And this is a very important aspect to understand. All right, so let's talk about survival and solo play. The areas around the Haga Basin and everything north, fully open world and soloable. There are no raids, no instant dungeons, no Chad asking you to tank because their healer ghosted. The devs aren't calling this an MMO for a reason. They're avoiding that baggage. With the MMO moniker comes certain expectations. DPS meters, gear score. No, this is just you, your gear, and the occasional sandworm trauma. You get to explore, build, fight, craft at your pace. Zero FOMO. No spreadsheets required. Who am I kidding? Of course there are going to be spreadsheets. There are going to be spreadsheets on Reddit. There are going to be spreadsheets on Discord. I'm going to probably make my own spreadsheets. Okay? It's just that spreadsheets are not going to be required. For those of us who find spreadsheets to be fun and enjoyable, we can have spreadsheets. For those of you who don't like it, who don't want to do spreadsheets, you don't have to. That is the beauty of this game. You don't have to do spreadsheets. You can just play and have fun. Such a novel concept. Oh my God, we play games to have fun. I think a lot of people tend to forget this sometimes. As for all of you lore lovers, not only are you going to have a strong narrative in the base game, but with seasonal expansions will come additional PvE storyline narratives, evolving missions, new areas, and solo playable quests that will slowly unravel the politics, plots, and betrayals of this alternative timeline in the Dune universe. This is what makes solo play viable long term. You're not on a content island. You're on Arrakis. And that's way cooler. All right, let's talk about the deep desert. This is where things get serious. The deep desert is the end game area. This is where the spice mining is going to occur. And it's the PvP zone. This is where the guilds are going to come out and will flex. They're going to zerg, and they're going to be looking to dominate. As a solo player, you can survive through stealth, timing, and playing in off-peak hours. You'll be able to go into the deep desert and probably get some resources and bring them back. You're just not going to win that 1v40, let's be real. It's just not going to happen. There is a bit of a bright side in the faction system. Right now, we know that there will be the Harkonnens and the Atreides, but there will also be a third faction introduced in the game that the devs have referred to as the Balance. Rumors abound about whether it will be the Serdalkar themselves from House Carino, or if it will actually be the Fremen, who have narratively been wiped from the surface of Arrakis. Involvement in a faction will allow you to participate in the Landrad political system. In these efforts, you can still play solo, because your efforts will be combined with all of the other players in your faction. Now look, if you want a guild, you've got options. There's a guild recruitment section on the official Dune Awakening Discord. It's active, it's organized. You can join up pre-launch and walk into the game ready to dominate. Chances are that once you get in the game, there will be guilds recruiting in global chat. You can even create your own. Even if you're a guild of one, you can still participate in the endgame Landrad, as it is contribution to the goals that matter, not your head count. So your vote, should your faction win the Landrad that week, on the decree, is going to be weighted towards your contribution to the win. Now look, if you've played other MMOs, you've seen it happen. You start with a crew. Everyone's dying to get in the game. Everyone's pumped. There's spreadsheets. There's roles. There's a guy named the Crafter, promising bis full gear before the end of the first week. 2 weeks later, Crafter Chad is gone. He's taken all of your resources and all of your dreams of bis gear. That's why when it comes to MMOs, I always hedge my bets. If I start with a group, am I going to contribute? Absolutely. But I would never bet the entire stash on other people's free time. Words of wisdom. But all of this brings us back to the big point. Dune Awakening is looking really solid for solo players. There's content, there's flexibility. So far, it doesn't look like you're going to be locked out of anything, except maybe that PvP domination. This game is definitely more solo friendly than New World was at launch. More focused than PAX Day. And let's be honest, this is more interesting than another Orc MMO clone. So whether you're a lone spice smuggler or part of a major house army, there is a path for you in Dune Awakening. Just be sure that when you walk it, you walk without rhythm. So set your alarm, sleepers. Dune Awakening is dropping June 10th on Steam. If you got that I sold my water rations for this edition, your early access begins June 5th. If this video helped you out, please throw us a like. Comment if you're gonna go solo or gilded. Subscribe for more breakdowns, tips, and inevitable sandworm encounters once Dune Awakening launches. Good luck, have fun, and remember to walk without rhythm.